In this video, I'm going to show you how to scrape Google Maps and how to get 2 to 3 meetings per day from reaching out to these companies. So this works for any niche in any market. And by the end of this video, you'll have a clear process that you can execute right away to start scraping Google Maps and reaching out to these companies to get yourself more deals. So this is for agency owners, software companies, and any other high-ticket B2B business. And it works in any market, city, or niche. Now, the first thing you want to go ahead and do is essentially do a market size estimation exercise. I see a lot of people that want to do outreach, but they haven't even done the TAM work yet. They haven't actually mapped out their TAM. And so this is something you need to do initially to actually know how much data there is out there to scrape. So the way that you do this is, of course, by doing market research. And with AI now, it's pretty straightforward to do this. You can create a Claude, a project where you do this. I've created an MD file we use for all the clients here at ScaleSprint that's going to help us estimate the approximate size of the total addressable market for our clients. So I've just shown a quick example here where we have plumbing contractors in Texas, 1 to 50 employees, and it gives an estimation of 10,000 companies. And then we just times that by 0.7 just to account for probably around 30% of these that are not accessible on Google or whatever, where we just simply can't find the data. So in this case, it would be a TAM of 7,000 companies. And then we know, okay, we actually need to scrape 7,000 companies now when we do our Google Maps scraping. So this is the first part of this whole exercise, is getting a clear understanding of the total addressable markets. The next thing is finding a tool to actually scrape Google Maps. So once you know your TAM size, you start scraping, and we recommend using Outscraper. This is the tool we use for our clients, and it's a great scraper where you can essentially put in your search for a specific type of business on Google, and it's going to start scraping that and pulling it into structured data like CSV files so you can directly plug into your ascending automation tool. So, and also part of the reason why it is very interesting to use this is because you can also get estimated revenue, headcount. You also get email addresses by doing this. And so we can see here, if you go to Outscraper, you'll be able to open their services and then a Google Maps scraper. And then it looks like this, where you can put in the category and you can put in the location and the maximum result limit. So that in this case, that would be 7,000 because we want 7,000 plumbers in Texas. So you would do that. And then also you can, in the bottom, you can basically add additional enrichment details. So again, as I mentioned, you can get the emails. You can also do direct email address verification. You can also get these company insights, as I mentioned, phone identity finder, SimilarWeb, so you can get stuff like traffic statistics and similar things to that. And you can also, they also have a build with integration, so you can get like the technology they're using on their websites and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different interesting things that you can enrich this data with on Outscraper. So once you have your final search, you just want to go ahead and click scrape, and it's going to automatically be scraped, and you can find it on under the tasks tab here. So you can find your final list. Now, once you get your list, a lot of the email addresses will be info at emails. So some of them will be owners, which Outscraper can find. In other cases, it's going to be info at. Now, I would actually still recommend that you reach out to people, even if it's an info at email, because in so many cases, and this is what our data suggests, you can actually reach the owner through an info at email, and this is getting a lot less outreach than the owner's direct email typically. So this is a sort of a hack that you can use, and is very effective to do this. So this is basically the first step here with Outscraper. And then also what you can do once you have your list from Outscraper is you can use basically Clay's Claygen feature. So you go to Clay's site. If you're not familiar with Clay, it's like a huge data enrichment tool. You can do a bunch of interesting stuff on there with your data. And then you can use their Claygen feature to have an AI agent that goes onto all the companies on the list that we got from Outscraper. And for all the ones where we don't have an email address, it can go on their websites and it can actually search for email addresses on their websites, right? So you're actually getting more out of your data by having an extra AI agent that goes in and tries to find additional email addresses on these companies' websites. And remember, when you do this, a lot of the time you're going to get data that is fairly rare because not many people are doing stuff like this. So you're going to get emails that probably don't get as much outreach as other emails from like larger databases. And naturally, because of that, you're going to have a better results. So That's something you want to do as well here using Clay. It's pretty easy to set that up. With Clay, they have like it's very easy to tell Clay what you want it to do via natural language, the way they've built their platform. So you'll definitely figure it out on their tool. And then also what you can do on Clay is run all the different domains that you have from your list through their data enrichment waterfall. Or alternatively, you can also upload the domains to a platform like Apollo, and you can find even more owner level details. Right. So what we're doing here with all these different steps I'm showing is we're trying to take the TAM that we basically got from this search here, or this market estimator exercise here, and we want to just find as many emails as we possibly can within the TAM, because the more emails we can find, the more the more email addresses we can find, the more emails we can send, and ultimately the more meetings we can book. So that's why we go through all these steps to get the most out of the data. Once that has been done, and you can see here on Clay, they have their you can search for work email, and this flow here where they have a bunch of different data integrations where it goes through each of them to find basically the email address of the owner. So that is the step here with all the data. The next thing is verification. So you want to make sure that you verify every single email before sending. As I mentioned, they do have a feature for this on Outscraper if you want to automatically include that here. We use Million Verifier for this purpose. And this is really important to do because if you don't verify these emails, you're gonna get a lot of emails that no longer exist, and it's gonna bounce, and your domains are gonna get completely fried if you don't do this. So this is really, really important. You want to verify your list using whatever verification tool you want to use. Now, if you have a super large TAM, I recommend only just using the ones that are fully verified on the tool. Sometimes you're going to get what are called catch-all emails. And basically what that means is the verification tool is not entirely sure if this is a real existing email address. And what you can do in cases where you have a smaller TAM, you can use a catch-all email verification tool, which is a bit more expensive, but then you can get basically more data out of the list because you can get some of these catch-all emails inside your list, so you're not just relying on the ones that are only fully verified. So yeah, and then also what I highly recommend is that you go ahead and remove all ESGs from your list. So any company that's using an ESG like Mimecast, you want to make sure that you remove them because these are like more advanced like security systems, spam filters, whatever you want to call it. And so once you send to these email addresses, it's typically going to bounce and your domains are going to take damage from this. The way you can identify which email addresses do have this sort of security system, you can use something like Instantly. They have an automatic detection feature for this, so you can avoid these kinds of emails. Now, the fifth step here is I want to show you how some of these numbers could actually work out here. So if we just quickly find another tab here. So now we're on this tool here, and basically what I want to show with this tool is how you can find your ideal results and then try to reverse engineer your system to get to that result. So let's say you have a TAM of 20,000 contacts based on your market research, and let's say we send a 3-step sequence over a 2-month period. We get a, let's say, 2% reply rate. We get a 25% positive reply rate. So 1 out of 4 people that respond are actually interested. Let's say we convert 40% of those into meetings. Let's say we have a 25% closing rate and a $15,000 LTV. What this essentially means is, given these conversion numbers here, you would be able to produce $75,000 in net new LTV per month with a system like this, right? So over 2 months, it would be 150K. And you'd be booking 20 meetings per month here, right? So this is basically how you can think about return on investment. This is how you can try to visualize the funnel, and this is also an exercise that we do with our clients here at ScaleSprint. Is try to actually figure out what are the goals and how do we reverse engineer the results to get to that point. So this is also something that I highly recommend you do whenever you build out your campaigns for these local businesses. And if you want ScaleSprint to run all of this for you, by the way, then you can check out the link in the description. But yeah, anyways, back to the Google Doc here again. So the last step here is essentially just sending the emails, loading this list that we've got onto instantly.ai, and make sure that your infrastructure is fully set up and optimized for deliverability before you start sending a single email. This is one of the things where you have to do a bit more research to find some good email infrastructure providers. We have one specific one we use here at ScaleSprint for all our clients that is really consistent with email deliverability, because doing all this stuff I've mentioned before without having an optimized deliverability infrastructure doesn't even matter, because you have to be able to land in the primary inbox and avoid the spam folder. And also, you want to, of course, write good scripts, really make your offer cold traffic ready. And again, these are sort of subjects for other videos, but this is also very important to get right if you want good results from your campaigns here. So that is going to be the video here regarding Google Maps scraping and outreach to local businesses. So, and again, with a solid offer, you should be able to realistically book multiple calls every single day from a system like this. And if you want to have us basically build out this entire system for you and just completely run it end to end, you can check out the links below, and I'll be happy to talk with you and see if we can help you. So thanks for watching the video, and have a good day.